All right, so we were joined by the talent and I've already messed her. I've already messed her title up. The talent acquisition specialist at Nucor Steel Jackson over there in Flowood, Mississippi, Jamie Bennett. We thank you so much for joining us today. I've got a room full here with me at Velma Jackson High School. We're recording this for all of our friends in Madison County Schools: Rosa Scott, Madison Central, Ridgeland High School, Germantown High School, the Academic Options Center, and our YouTube channel. And we're in the manufacturing career cluster. And we thank you guys so much at Nucor Steel, one of the best local employers here in the Jackson area, for joining us today.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Thank you for having us, Greg.
Oh, absolutely. Now, before we get into what all Nucor does and all the great careers there and the really cool process that you guys do in creating a very needed product, tell us a little bit about your background, because you are an Army veteran of 22 years.
I am. Little correction, 23 years. Give me my year, Greg. So yes, I am a recent retiree. I'd say a little less than 2 years. I retired in October of 2022 after 23 years of service. Joined the Army right out of high school. Went the Army Reserve route for a little while before I went active duty after deployment, and did it. And now I'm retired. And right after I retired in October, I landed a job with Nucor Steel Jackson. And I've been doing this. I call it my first big girl job. So
That's awesome. And like I said, we have a couple of JROTC cadets in here, and we really want to give kids the option. I'm not about telling kids what to do, but given the option, the military can be a great route to open up some incredible career doors. I think problem that a lot of us run into as teachers is the kids see things on TV and in the movies, and they think all the military is let's kick down doors and blow stuff up. Now, if you like that kind of stuff, they can find a spot for you. But literally, there's so much opportunity in the United States Army and all the other branches to not only get away from your hometown and see new places and meet new people, but to get unbelievable career skills, unbelievable pay, and unbelievable benefit packages for the rest of your life.
absolutely. And just like the Army, I would say Nucor is on par with that as well. We have so many different career fields that you can come into if you're looking to join Nucor. And a lot of them, even say you're right out of high school and you're like, hey, I know I want to get my foot in the door. I don't have a clue as to what I want to be when I really grow up. You can come in our entry level pool and work in our mill and work your way up to actually be a general manager. We pay for
Absolutely.
we pay for your kids to go to school. We have great benefits. We have over 300 locations. So just like the military, you can move around to increase your possibilities within your career. And again, benefit packages, opportunities to move around and grow your career. Military, Nucor, I would say they're neck and neck as great options for career choices.
Absolutely. Now, obviously, we want to talk about Nucor. The Nucor Jackson's right there on Flowood Drive in Flowood. Unbelievably, you can't miss it. It's a huge location. So tell us a little bit about what Nucor produces, because we talked about in class, literally everything on this planet has to be manufactured by somebody. And
Right.
Nucor produces steel products that have to be used by other people to make other things. So take us through what all Nucor does, because some of our kids may not know.
So the one here in Flowood, Mississippi, we are a rebar manufacturer. So if you think of highways and bridges, so if you're going through, I guess right now 55 has a project going on where they're building a bridge. I know 51 in Madison has a project going on. When you're seeing the construction go up, the best way I can say is a vision the bars that are like under the bridges that are holding it. That's rebar. And so what that does is it helps with the infrastructure to make sure that it's sound and it's strong. So when you look at bridges, highways, steel buildings, our steel was actually in the One World Trade Center. So things
Oh,
like that. Yeah, so we manufacture steel that goes into military grade vehicles. So from anything from the I call them like the little pivots at the Dollar General when you look up, we manufacture steel that looks like that, to things that go into war vehicles. We have steel in everything.
absolutely. And you mentioned before we started recording that you guys do all three of the processes, because the recycling field right there, right past the mill, is quite a, if kids haven't seen it, it's just cool to look at. It is one of the most impressive sights, is that the fact that all that raw material is right there that you guys use to, as far as recycled steel. So, what are the three processes of the steel manufacturing?
So at our mill here in Flowood, like Greg said, we are one of the few locations that have all three of the processes in one location. So, granddad brings an old washing machine to the junkyard, as we call it, right? Our general recycling mill, drops it off, gets a couple dollars. We take that, we break it down, and we take the parts of the washing machine that we could use to make steel. So you're my science kids, right? So you have ore, you have iron, you have all these things that go into making steel a certain strength and a certain product that can hold a certain amount of weight, right? So a customer will say, hey, I need steel for a bridge. I'm not going to give him steel that I'm going to put on a house, right? I need that bridge to be able to hold tons and tons and tons of weight, right? So we take the metals from the washing machine or the cars or the boats that we get, that goes over to the steel mill, right? We mix all that together, certain chemistry. We have metallurgists. That was a word that I learned since working here. There's actually a science behind it, metallurgists. They make sure it has all the proper ingredients. And then we roll it to the specification of the customer. So it may be a bar, it may be the rebar, it may be angled iron, stuff like that. And then we sell it to the customer. Rebar fabrication, so the people that bend the iron to certain shapes. So you may need a rebar, but it needs to be bent because it has to go around a pool or a big tub or something. So our fabrications, that's who's going to bend it to the customer specification as well, and then it goes out into the market and gets sold.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you mentioned about the different levels of careers there at Nucor because obviously you need people with a background in chemistry, you need people with engineering degrees, because you told me before you guys have employees that have PhDs that work there, but you guys also have a great relationship with the local community colleges because we have a lot of kids that are like, look, I want to make good money, but I don't really want to do the 4-year college route. You guys
Right.
have a great relationship with Heinz and Holmes with their they have a great welding program, they have mechatronics, they have industrial technology, and all of those are jobs that are needed in this manufacturing industry. And they're making, once they get their foot in the door and get experience and get trained, they can make a lot of money.
Absolutely. On average, our entry level, and again, this is just requiring a high school diploma or a GED. So, again, right out of high school, on average, our teammates, they make about 75,000 in our actual meal. So again, here's what I like to tell people, right? It sounds like a lot of money, and it is. It's a great amount of money for the work that you get, on top of the benefits that we offer, on top of the retirement plan, on top of, we have this thing called profit sharing. So profit sharing is basically, you have a company and they're like, oh, we made a gazillion dollars this year, right? We're going to give some of that as a teammates, because they
Wow.
realize, we're nothing without our teammates, right? So everybody gets to eat. If the CEO is eating, everyone is eating. That's how I like to say it. Now, if the CEO isn't eating, then we're probably all a little, on some ramen noodles right now. But it's very equal to that. No one's more important than anyone, really. But yeah, so 75,000 will pay you to go to school. We pay $4,000 a year for you to go to school. When you turn 25 and 30 and you get ready to get married, we'll pay for your spouse to go to school, pay for your kids to go to school. So absolutely. And like I said, the entry level production doesn't require anything but a high school diploma. So
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's the thing. Nucor wants to train people. And we watched one of the videos that Nucor put out about an employee saying, I came here and they trained me how to do this. So if you're willing to put in the work, you can get training and move up within the company.
absolutely. Safety is our biggest priority. So as long as you can come in, you're willing to learn, and safety is a priority for you, we can train you to do anything else.
Yeah. And now I know most manufacturers are going to have a similar policy, no matter where somebody goes to work in manufacturing, that, kids all the time say, well, I want to work here. And I'm like, well, can you pass a drug test? You're going to have to. Yeah, I'm not even trying to be funny. Because people are, well, it's going to be legal. Well, maybe it is going to be legal, but it's still a liability to be to be under the influence of anything when you're working with heavy machinery that could be dangerous. So, talk about some of the HR screening process because one, you're going to have to pass a drug test, and then I don't think kids realize no matter what job you apply for, especially at a large corporation like Nucor, you're going to be vetted. So, if you're putting a bunch of crazy stuff on social media, it could cost you getting an interview.
I like that you bring that up. So yes, absolutely. Safety being our priority. We do have a no drug policy within Nucor, within all of our mills. So upon, you're filling out the application, you go through the interview process. And usually you have your phone interview and then you have a panel interview and then you may have one more with your GM or something. And then if before they offer you a firm offer, you're gonna have to take a drug test. Absolutely. And it's an extensive drug test. Not only that, at Nucor, because we have loud noises, we have just the residual of making the steel, the air quality and stuff. We also have to take physicals. So you have to take a hearing test, you have to take a breathing test to test the quality of your lungs. We have to take a lead test, right? But this is all because of safety. We want to know where your levels are. If like me, right, I have tinnitus being a veteran. So they'll look at me and say, okay, it doesn't mean I can't have a job, but they know what my hearing level is like now, and they'll monitor it to make sure that the noise in the mill isn't deteriorating my hearing. Same thing with lead in the air, making sure that my lungs look good when I came in and that they look good when I leave. But absolutely, drug test safely, because the type of equipment, the heat, the fire, the liquid, you can lose a hand in an instant when you're safe, when you're well aware, when you're in your right mind, when you're sober. So adding alcohol or drugs to that, absolutely, we're not going to play with you around with that. So we want you to come
Absolutely.
in the same way we want you to leave the same way you came in, and we want to make sure that you're doing taking the same precaution for the person to your left and to your right.
Absolutely. Now, obviously, Nucor's been around for a long time, but the technological advances in manufacturing continue to change. So, we have programs at Madison County Schools in engineering and robotics and IT, which both are continuously evolving and becoming more and more involved in places like Nucor. So, if kids can get certifications while they're in high school in IT or in any type of engineering and robotics, how much more of a good candidate does that make them to work for a place like Nucor?
It absolutely gives you brownie points, right? So if we're looking for someone in our entry level pool and no, you don't have a high school, I'm sorry, a college degree, but you took robotics or you took an IT programming or something and you put that on your resume, it absolutely adds some brownie points, as I like to call them, to your resume, because that's one less thing that we have to, train you on per se, because you're coming in with a little more knowledge.
Absolutely. And then let's say somebody does go the college route. What are some of the college degrees that would be attractive working in the manufacturing industry like Nucor? Because I know Ole Miss has their new manufacturing center that is just state of the art. Mississippi State with their engineering technology. Jackson State is really pushing the electrical engineering going forward. So, what are some of the degrees that you guys would look for some of these jobs that will require a degree?
So like you just said, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, we have accounting majors. I have a HR major, business degree. So business, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, we even just a general studies degree works. That comes with like experience stuff, right? So while you're in college, say you go and get an internship with Nucor, you could be majoring in mass communications, but you land an internship in our sales department. Now you have sales experience, you have communications experience. You can come in as one of our sales representatives, right? So if you can think of a degree that's not medical, we could probably use it. So we don't need a bunch of doctors, right? But we need people that are willing to do the work. We have a legal team, we have IT. Nucor is a unique company because we buy everything we need, if that makes sense. So we don't like to contract work out. If we see a need for us to grow, we're gonna create that and solve the problem. So we actually have a whole team, Nucor Business Technologies. They handle our network, they handle our computers, they handle all of that. That is their only focus. So computer engineering, computer sciences, all of that's going to be needed.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm getting questions from the kids. Now, one thing obviously I did want to talk about as well is, you know, people think of manufacturing, especially steel manufacturing, and they just think it's just a bunch of big burly men. Women really don't have a place there. But this is a career and a field that desperately needs women to get involved. So talk about with some of, and I know I know Nucor's been great in getting more women involved in manufacturing because it can be a very lucrative industry. So everybody needs to have a place at the table. So talk about the opportunities for women in this field.
They're endless. We do not discriminate whether you're a man or a woman. Again, me being a veteran, I compare it to being in the military. People would say, "Oh my God, you're in the military. You can get your nails done. You can get your..." Yes, absolutely, right. So, and like Greg said, with the technology that we have, you think that now, I'm sure you have a picture that people are in a steel mill and they're shoveling coal into these fires, and right, like, we have machines for that now. I'm sure back in the day they did, but now we have machines again that makes it safer. So I'm not going to tell you that it's not hard work. It is very hard work to work in a steel mill. If you're actually in the manufacturing process of it, it is hard work. And it's some long hours, but it's predictable with your hours. Again, I know at Nucor your hours are set. But yes, we want women. We have women, of course, on the admin because that's what they say we do, like secretaries and stuff. We know the whole adage. But no, at our mill in Jackson, we do have women that are actually in the mill manufacturing. We have them over at our general recycling mill as well. We have because we need truck drivers, right? So truck drivers have to take our steel from one place to another. We have female truck drivers over there. We have female safety officers. We have female heavy equipment operators. So we don't discriminate whether you're a woman or a man or any non-binary. It doesn't matter to us. Just apply. Again, safety is our priority.
Absolutely. Now, before I get into the students' questions, you did mention this, and this is something I really want to hit on because, especially with our kids at Velma Jackson, all the time I hear them say, "Well, I want to get out. I want to get out of Mississippi." Okay, that's fine. You can get your foot in, but I want to get out of Mississippi, but I don't want to go to college. Okay, get your foot in the door with a great company like Nucor. You prove you can do the work. Nucor, I know, is based in Charlotte, North Carolina. If you
Absolutely.
prove that, if you prove that you can do a great job, you just said guys have locations all over the country. So if a job comes up and you've proven yourself in a job, any company, no matter what field it's in, likes moving up from within rather than searching. No, one, because it's cheaper, but two, because they like having people, they like giving people incentive, and they like having people that know the business, that are going to be moving into these positions.
Absolutely. So we have over 300 locations. We actually have a mill in Trinidad and Tobago, believe it or not.
Oh wow! Oh, that would be tough to live there. Let me tell you.
I know, right? So we have them. We have mills in Canada. We actually have a mill in Mexico as well. But yeah, because we buy everything. So you can work in our rebar mill. You can work in a sheet mill. You can work in a tubular mill. You can work with our technology group. You could work at our headquarters. You could work at our overhead garage door company, our fabrication. There's so many opportunities. And yeah, you can apply to any one of them, get your foot in the door. And once you're in Newport, again, it's like a big family. And when you grow up, you'll hear that and sometimes be like, nah, ain't no way. But it really, really is. And we definitely like to, keep our teammates and allow us to grow from within. Because we already know who we are, right? We know that this person is safe. We know that, okay, I know this person knows this aspect of the job and they want to go and try their hand at this. Absolutely. Go try it. Go test it out. So yeah, get your foot in the door. The possibilities are endless.
Absolutely, and again, and I've seen the billboards that Nucor has around town about their package, and I'm like, dang, that's. And you mentioned the military; it's military level benefits. So
It
there's
is.
not a lot of companies that can match the benefits that Nucor has. Like you said, you need people to actually come in there and work. But again, it says a lot when you are going to get rewarded for the hard work that you put in when you can get those kind of benefits. That's just not something every company can offer.
Absolutely, absolutely. We want, and I say we, just speaking collectively, right? We want each of us to feel valued. And that is the thing at Nucor. Again, we are one big team. No one is more important than the next person. Our GM can be walking around the mill and he's not the guy in the fancy suit and like, oh, don't touch me, so it's none of that. You can walk into his office and talk to him anytime. I'm sure if I sent our CEO an email right now and said, hey, Leon, what's going on with this, he'd respond, right? It'd be kind of
Wow.
unorthodox, like, why are you emailing me? But he's not so far removed that he's like, oh, you peasant. No, we don't have that type of hierarchy at Nucor. Everybody is, a teammate. Everybody is equal when it comes to ideas. And that's one thing that I love about the company. If you idea and you think that a process can be improved, you don't have to go through 17 channels to make it happen, right? Talk to your boss, talk to your safety coordinator. Is it safe? Does it make sense? Okay, let's try it. And if it works, now you've improved the process for the entire meal.
Awesome. Well, I do have a few questions from the students. I'll get to as many of these as I can because these are really good. This
Okay.
first one is a Ray. She's in 10th grade. One of our JROTC cadets here at Velma Jackson. And she asked, was it hard transitioning to a manufacturing job after so long in the Army?
Absolutely. And I don't think it even has anything to do with the manufacturing job. Going from a soldier, which is all I've known, to a civilian is a transition in itself. So it doesn't even matter, I think, what career field I chose after retirement. But it's definitely it's a feat, but it's fun. It's been fun these 2 years. So it's been interesting, but it's been fun.
I like this one. This is Demontre Strange. He's in 10th grade. One of our he plays 3 sports here at Velma Jackson. Great athlete. But he asked, what made you pick Nucor after you left the Army?
Um, just the way I felt during the interview process. I actually had a job offer prior to taking this job. Just I got the warm and fuzzies. I like the way, that their concept. I like the values. I like the mission statement that they had. I like the flexibility for my job in particular. You just get a vibe. I don't know how you could say it. It was just a vibe. I was on my vibe stuff there. Like again, transitioning. I was like, I don't want anything that's gonna give me a headache. I don't want anybody that's like, I'm the big bad wolf, listen to me. I didn't want that type of employer. And so Nucor came along, they offered me a job, and I was very blessed and thankful to get it.
This is Madison Sims. She's in 10th grade, one of our volleyball players here. And she asked, did you go to college? And if you did, which one did you go to?
I did go to college. So I went to Jackson State for a little while I was a reservist. I deployed. Life happened, active duty after deployment, and I finished college online. So I went to the University of Arkansas online, and I didn't graduate college until 2013. I graduated high school in 2000. So I had a nice space there. But yes, the Army paid for me to go to college and finished it up.
Uh, oh, here's an interesting one. This is Justice Conway, one of our basketball players here. And she asked, did you want to stay in the Army? Why did you leave?
23 years, baby. I mean, that's a long time. So I'm also a mom. My daughter just started her freshman year of college. Shout out to
Oh, awesome.
volleyball there. She has a volleyball scholarship, so love volleyball. And I wanted to focus on that. I was tired of moving around all the time. She's been in 3 high schools in her career. I don't know how many schools altogether. So it was just time to focus on my family.
Oh, absolutely. And I hear that all the time about even though, a good friend of this class is Jennifer Riley Collins, who ran for Attorney General. And she said, as much as I miss my Army life, it was just time to spend, it was time to focus on my family. So
Absolutely.
that is a very common answer. And I couldn't agree more. I like this one. This is Shania Smith. She's in 10th grade, one of our volleyball players here. And she asked, what do you enjoy most about your job?
Talking to people. um, I love having an impact on people and especially the youth, right? You might not have known about Newport unless we had a conversation. So just watching light bulbs go off, talking to people, giving people a different way of thinking about opportunities that are out here. That is the highlight of my job. I love it.
Absolutely. This is Sanaya Norman. She's our Miss Sophomore here at Velma Jackson and one of our cheerleaders.
Okay,
And
Miss.
she asked, oh, absolutely. She asked, what are the qualities that someone would need to get hired at Nucor?
Safety, being able to communicate, um, being a team player, being proactive, and just being a hard worker.
Absolutely. And I think that's the case for um a lot of these manufacturing jobs is that you don't have to be the smartest person in the world, but if you show that you can be coachable, you show you have good team skills, you show that you're willing to learn and willing to work. I think a lot of these companies could really find a place for you.
Absolutely.
Oh, I like this one. This is Kenneth Jones. He's in 10th grade. He's one of our band members. And he asked, what advice would you have for someone who is seriously considering joining the military?
Have a plan. That would be my advice. Definitely take your ASVAB seriously. And go in with the open mind of I'm doing this because A, B, and C, right? So that would be your plan. Because it's gonna be people that's gonna make you mad. Somebody might talk to you crazy and be like, I know you ain't talking to me. That's no, we're not gonna do all that, right? So go in there and know that it's gonna be some foolishness, right? Especially the first part of your years, you might be like, oh my gosh, it's a whole lot of hurry up and waiting, and I gotta do just the lamest of things. Why am I sweeping the concrete today, right? But know your why. You're going to get a degree, you're going to get a skill, you're going for the benefits, you're going to travel the world, what I'm saying, whatever it is. Just be mentally prepared for that. Be mentally prepared for the culture shock, because it's not like going to college per se. Now we'll say some of the good things when you first join. The barracks life is literally like college dorm life, right?
Absolutely. Oh, big time.
It is literally like college dorm. So there's going to be some foolishness. You're going to get in trouble for something someone else did. So be prepared for that. But I personally think that everybody should be in the military at least 2 years. My dad was in the Army. I was in the Army. My mom was in the Army. My uncles, cousins, aunties. My child decided she wasn't going, but I'm going to try to find a way.
All right, they're steady handing me questions, so I like that. I like that they're coming up with these. But I have two, and I just have time for one more. But this is Mila McCullough, one of our basketball players here. I'm sorry, she didn't play basketball. She's one of our dancers here. Well, one of our Blue Diamond dance team. She had to correct me. But she handed me another question. I was going to ask her one, but then she handed me another one. Her first one is: was it stressful being in the military and going to school at the same time, and how did you manage it?
Yes. I was in school, I was a mom, so I was working. Time management, right? There are 24 hours in the day. Since retirement, I'm like, dang, I waste a lot of time some days, right? You can really get it done with time management. If you know you have to be at PT and you don't get off work till 5 o'clock, okay, you have 5 to 9 sometimes to do your homework or to watch your lectures and stuff like that. And then you put your kids to sleep or you go to sleep and you get up and do it all over. So time management is the biggest thing. And that alleviates some stress because you're now structured and you know what time and what you're going to do every day. So that's the biggest thing that you can do, is make sure that you're managing your time and have it planned out.
Absolutely. Now she asked me this other one, and I like this question too. She asked, "How does Nucor compare to other companies, and why does the steel that Nucor produces, how is it better than the other steel companies?"
Ooh, that is a good question. I'm gonna repeat it one more time. So, how is Nucor better than other companies, and how is our still
Uh-huh.
better than other companies? Okay,
Uh-huh.
so I can't answer other companies just because Nucor is the only one that I've been with, but I would say that's the best. Just looking up reviews for other companies online, I think we have a better rating with our teammates. We've been voted one of the best places to work in manufacturing. So I think that when you look at the votes, they say Nucor is the best. And just how we treat our teammates, I think it's really good. And we have a no layoff policy. So you kids were pretty young during COVID. So when COVID hit, a lot of manufacturing companies, a lot of companies worldwide just went downhill. People were getting laid off, people were getting fired. We didn't lay anybody off, right? So we are a company
Wow.
that really believes in teammates. And so again, if we're eating together, we're all eating together, whether it be ramen noodles or filet mignon, we're going to eat together. The quality of steel, that is a layered question. So the quality comes with the pricing, what it's going to be used for, and just the sustainability of it, right? So I think that's why Nucor is a Fortune 100 company when it comes to that, because again, we're not leasing a whole lot of things. We're recycling materials that, are already out here. And we make it to the specification of the customer, and we do it sustainably. So we're trying to limit our emissions footprint. And we have our hands in so many things. And we actually, some of the other steel companies, we actually buy them to improve their processes, and then they
Wow.
become one of our companies. So that's why we have over 300 locations, because we buy a lot of the smaller mills. So
Wow, I did not know that. That's pretty cool. But I just think it's so important, to realize, we see things being built all the time, but somebody has to produce the steel beams, somebody has to produce the rebars, all those things that go into building, all types of things. And I didn't realize you guys had a hand in building these military vehicles. So the manufacturing process touches so many things, and I don't think kids realize all the different people and great careers that go into that.
absolutely. Like I said, whether you're a lawyer, because of course you have to make sure everything's legal when it's time to build a new mill, when it's time to, hey, our product, something happened with it. So we need legal teams, we need lawyers, we need electricians, whether you're an electrical engineer or you're just, you went to Heinz and got your electrician degree. It doesn't matter. We need electricians, we need welders, we need accountants, we need, HR people, we need recruiters, we need analysts, we need all types of things. So there's really nothing, again, we don't need medical doctors, not right now, but who knows? Who knows? Nucor is growing. We might need a doctor one day, but anything in between, I really believe we could find a place for you.
Absolutely. Well, we're almost out of time, and we thank you so much for taking some time for us. I've been trying to get Nucor forever, so I'm glad you guys are with us. So, but before we go, why should these kids really consider working at a place like Nucor, and how can they get more information about the great careers over at Nucor?
So if you want to know information about Nucor, you can go to www.nucor.com. If you want specifically careers/careers, and all that'll come up, and you can kind of look at the job descriptions and see what the requirements are. But I would say if you look into a job, whether it's at Nucor or any manufacturing, having a skill. So going back to my military career, I really wish I would have had like a tradable skill, electrician, plumbing, something like that, because it's just something about being able to do something yourself, like the hard work of it and being able to be a part of the fabric of America. Like you're actually building infrastructure. You can ride down the road and say, I did that, or I fixed this for that person. So I think it's an opportunity that is, like I said, this endless possibilities.
That's awesome. And one thing you mentioned those trades. One thing I had to mention though, this machinist technology is really, really getting big, and I know Nucor needs those folks. I know Holmes and Hines both have those machinist programs. You can be done in 10 months, and I know Nucor will be looking for a good machinist right out of that program.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I did have to mention that because I forgot about it. But again, we're out of time, and we thank you so much for joining us. Jamie Bennett over at Nucor Steel and Flowwood, thank you so much for taking some time for us today.
You can follow our Facebook page, and we have a LinkedIn page. I don't know if you guys have talked to them about LinkedIn, but we have a LinkedIn page and we have a Facebook page for Nucor Steel Jackson. And I will send the link to that to Greg so he can send out or put it on a link
Sure,
for the YouTube
sure.
channel.
I
You
will
guys can
definitely send
follow
it to
us
all
and
the other
see all the
teachers.
information.
Send it to all the other teachers, and we'll get your name out there. We really appreciate it. Jamie Bennett over at Nucor Steel, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, talk to you soon, buddy.
All right, bye.